that you can purchase on wisemindpublication.com, and the money from the ebook go obviously to the elders in need. So Rastafari Tafare is also representing here the Nyabingi Theocracy Order, the international Nyabingi family, and is here today talking to us about, yes, the internationalization of Rastafari movement. I have here with me Rastaites, that is without need of explanation, is residing in Ethiopia since many years after been living also in Jamaica for another good quantity of years, and part of the Nyabingi Rastafari family, and is involved in so many projects, and he will be here talking to I in the next days about healing arts, healing techniques, and healing properties of food, plants, and life, the healing capacities of life, of our way of life. So give thanks. I don't want to take no more time from this panel of today. Thanks once again for being here. We have those leaflet there with all the program of the conferences, because they will be here every day, but at different times. So if you don't want to forget about the time, please catch one of them flyers, and we're gonna be here every day except the last day that we will be at Reggae University with an interesting panel about Rastafari farming. So I am Ras Giulio, by the way, and I'm here, you know, with all the family in Thanksgiving. Bless you all. Ras Flaco.
Yes, I. Greetings, blessings, and thanksgiving to everyone who is here. This is a time of sharing of Rastafari liberty. This is a time of reality of that time until this time. We are reasoning on Rastafari from the ancient time until this time. In the liberty of Rastafari, we have many what you call patriarchs and foundation of the faith. We could go as far as the 1920s, when we have ones like Bedward. We'll have Arthur Rogers. We'll have Fitzgerald Ballantyne, Royal Parchment Scroll. Then for those who are more familiar, we'll have Leonard Howell, Robert Hines, Joseph Nathaniel Hibbert, those ones that we really know, we are really familiar with. But the fact is that Leonard Howell and Archibald Dunkley, Robert Hines, were one in their concept and their conscience of Rastafari liberty. They had no discrepancies, although they stand on different platforms, right? They were advocates of the Black to Africa program. They saw redemption as repatriation. For Rastafari, it's twofold: reparations and repatriation. You have to reparate us first, then repatriate. But there is no Rastafari who will not speak of both in the same light and context, right? But there are three phases of the Rastafari movement. If you might not know, I'll just bring you up to date. The first phase is the main focus was the promoting of the concept of black God among the people. The image of God that was first presented was a bearded white father in the sky. Or would say a white Jesus, right? A man with a cross. Pictures of black Christ circulated in streets, and very soon the black consciousness of us amongst one started to increase. The idea of a black God has been a part of Garvey movement. Garvey already explained, you have to see God in your own spectacles, so we could know that. But to Rastafari, God was more than that. God was not only black, was a physical being. So that when the early fathers rise, that was their first concept. Because Rastafari was resistance of what they came to see. The phase two, the first phase was in 1930 to 1940. Second phase, 1940, this was the phase of the second generation who entered the movement in 1940s. They revolt against the trend practice. When they came at 1940s, it was like a Pocomania, Mayal traditions, right? So the younger generation said, no, that's not us. That is your thing, right? They instituted a practice of being the hallmark of the movement. they brought about the dreadlock consciousness that we have now. Dreadlocks, not the Congo, not the Bongo. That was the youthfulness amongst Rastafari. They were not in tune with the Mayal, the Kumina, the Pokomena that they came and see. Wherein that is African tradition, that is African redemption. But that's how the Rastafari developed until now. The third phase that we are now in is the reggae movement, the practice of Rastafari wearing dreadlocks. The sharing of the Rastafari, what you would call a livity, a way of life. Because in the early stage, you didn't have that. It was a revolutionary contest of the image of God, who God was. Then you have the ritual side of it, the drums. But out of that drum came the Nyabingi. So the philosophy, that is the stage that we are in. We are looking on 1980s until now. The reggae consciousness, the reggae culture, the dreadlocks Nyabingi, the warrior, herb smoking Rastafari, the Ital Rastafari. That is our experience now. So we are looking in that stage. But most would claim, most Rastafari today does not belong to a house or mansion. There is Rastafari. When I ask you, hey, where you belong to? Some will say Nyabingi, some will say Bobo Shanti, others will say, I'm just Rasta. For them, they see the divinity of His Majesty. It's not all of which that stage, but for most Rastafari, Haile Selassie is God in flesh, the divine being. See? So we are looking on the three phases until now. But let's look on Pinnacle now. Most people hear about Pinnacle, don't know what Pinnacle is like, right? So 1940, 17th of November 1932, Leonard Howell returned to Jamaica over 20 years. Leonard Howell was harassed and driven by colonial authorities. May 1940, on behalf of the Ethiopian Salvation Society, he bought the Pinnacle Estate at Sligoville. Pinnacle is located above Spanish Town. It was the first free slave after emancipation, so Pinnacle is a totally free village, right? But at Pinnacle, you have the African retention. You have the East Indians who brought in ganja, Cali, because it was not the Africans who brought in ganja to Jamaica, it was the East Indians. That time, for those who are within my age group, who know what Cali weed. You didn't have the skunk and the sativa and the indica. It was just, hey, give me a jar of Cali. Basically that was that. So, but you have, at Pinnacle, you have Congo-derived drummings, mixed with African drumming. You have the Indian retentions also. But Pinnacle was not really a fertile land. It was really rocks and things. But the economy of Pinnacle was ganja. Man will plant ganja at Pinnacle and sell it wholesale. You see from when ganja is there until now you have medical marijuana. It's not now, You're talking about from 1940s. When ganja was the economy of Rastaman. Seeing? That was the economy of Pinnacle. But Pinnacle itself was a self-sufficient community. They grow their own food. They make their own shoes. They plant enough crops and sell to Kingston. Pinnacle was a community by itself. But one thing though, you know about ancient Bongo Water. Now Bingi Patriot. Bongo Water was not in favor of what was going on in Pinnacle. Because Pinnacle was playing Kumina, Pinnacle was playing Mayal, Pinnacle was playing a different jump school. Pinnacle was using people eating goat, eating flesh. That's what they used to. Indians like goats and stuff like that. So, no, Water had a talk with Howell. Say, Howell, I don't know, I don't like what you're doing, You need to step up, you need to change stuff. How many years younger was Water to Howell? Much younger? 15 years there, 10, 15 years thereabout. But Howell, Rastafari always visit Pinnacle. But remember, you still have to give Howell the credit to bring it to that stage wherein you have a community, a culture, wherein you have a black identity now. Because what moved Water, is the black identity of the God concept, the God in man, God in flesh. That's how we'll saw. So Water says, I will create the Nyabingi order. That was in 1947. So Water create what we were just playing, the bass, funde, and repeater. Water. Because Water did not like the Kumina beat. Kumina beat is fast. Kumina beat attract spirits. When you play Kumina, the ancestors will come. There's no asking. They need no invitation. The drum invite them to your presence. So you have to be a master drummer to take them away or to calm them down. Because if you're weak, you'll be possessed. Within a communal settings, you have candles, you have flags. For water, Haile Selassie is the only candlestick, burning candlestick. You need no candlelight. Haile Selassie is the light. So we have to step up the thing now. Saying. To the communal, because Haile Selassie is the only candlelight. We need no other candlelight. Because within a communal circle, you have candles and you have flags and you have holy water. All those things, and that attract the ancestors. There's nothing wrong with attracting ancestors, you know. But now being he said we don't want no spirit, we don't want no dope, we don't want no people coming in the midst, you know. So within the Naya Bingi drum circle that we were playing, it's natural. It flows naturally, see? But in Jamaica now, people was against Pinnacle, especially the law on other people. So what they did, 1941, Gleaner reported at the front page, the people of Sligoville were passing through a period of fear. After a few days, 173 heavily armed policemen, most from Kingston, raided Pinnacle. They arrested 70 male Howellites, but Leonard Howell was able to escape. So although Pinnacle was running, the people said, no, you don't want your Rasta people up there, you know, causing problem, planting his heap of ganja and doing these other things. This is typical. So 1954, Pinnacle was raided once again by police and broken up permanently. From 1954, you have no Pinnacle. So they scattered, right? That's, you even come back to the chant, over land and sea. You have a nice base. But Rasta is knowing, you know. Rasta said, Babylon, you're wicked, Babylon, you're evil. So there's nothing can happen to Rasta that they don't know already. Rasta will not be afraid of anything coming to them because we already know. And we know that trial and tribulation you're going to bear no matter what. So don't be afraid if something happened to you. What you didn't plan for, but in your mentality, you know. See? After Pinnacle, you have Bakawal. Bakawal in Kingston is interpreted as you are behind the wall. You are behind civilization. So Bakawal is like a shanty. You know? Like you have no use, you're living in a slum community. So we look at Bakawal was for most Rastafari, it is an encampment, like a big yard. Yeah, zinc fences, yard, big fire, people sleeping on hammock. You know, so in Bakawal, you can stay as long as you want. There's always food, there's always herb, there's always a fire going, there's always reasoning. So Bakawal is like an outside university, a holding area. So most ones will walk, you've been to Jamaica, you know how far Mobe is. One will walk from Montego Bay to Kingston just to go to Bakawal. And there was a seat of knowledge and authority. So most of the ancients will go to Bakawal. So around Bakawal you might hear about Akiwalk, Grassyard, Foreshore Road, Shantytown, and Moonlight City. Those are these communities around Bakawal, but they will always go to Bakawal for what? Reasoning, a groundation. So you consider here as Bakawal, the elders will sit and everybody reason and smoke and eat and rest. And with Bakawal, it's ceaseless chanting. There's always ones around the harp chanting, see? But Bakawal was called Egypt, another name for Bakawal. It was a means of sojourning. You come to Bakawal, you sojourn. So you're coming from Montego Bay, you go to Bakawal, you sojourn for 2 weeks, you go back to Montego Bay. So it's a holding area for strengthening of the ones then. Just like here, we come to Rotterdam for strength, for family relationship, you know, for tranquility, for peace of mind. That's the same idea we're bringing across, you know. So Bakawal serves its purpose. But then again, police not like Rasta, you know. So police come again for Bakawal, see? So 12 July 1966, precisely 9 a.m., a regiment of 250 police and over assembled from Denham Town, raided Bakawal. So they came with bayonets, guns, buttons. They came with bulldozers. Imagine. So just waited until His Majesty gone again? Yeah. Bulldoze Bakawal. And what they built up, Tivoli Gardens. So everything is political. Yeah, yeah. Bulldoze back a wall. Because Mama Fire will tell, remind me that when she was a child, a baby, she heard these bulldozers running, big engines coming, and her parents could just grab her out of the bed. And by the time she looked, the shanty is flat, gone. Everything scraped up like a pile of dirt or rubbish. See? So in 3 days, 3 camps were destroyed. Hundreds of people were left abandoned with only rags on their back. You're homeless, no clothes, no money. You only had what you had on at the time. See? So Rastafari screamed that, hey, send us back to Ethiopia now. You don't want us in Jamaica. We are Jamaican citizens. Anywhere we go, you mash up Pinnacle, now you mash up Bakawal. Well, Ethiopia want to go. There's nothing wrong with that. But up to now, we're still in Jamaica. They don't want to send us. You know, it's like a migration thing. So, you know, Operation Bulldoze and Burn, that's what it was called, you know, was executed with ruthless efficiency, including the meticulous advanced plans. Anyone who witnessed the devastation of the settlement, it was an outcry within the community, within the media, because the media will make a spectacle of anything that goes around Rasta. Guys, see. So we look on early days, we look on Pinnacle, we look on Bakawal, when we look on now Rastafari today, the Nyabingi order, because that we're looking at things in stages as we can. You know, the Nyabingi theocracy, priesthood and levity. So Nyabingi is a theocracy order. See? The Nyabingi order is the oldest Rastafari order, the oldest mansion within Rastafari. The name of Nyabingi is come from Queen Nyabingi. We know that. But for the Nyabingi, Haile Selassie is divine. That's the difference between Nyabingi and other mansions. Although they might see the same, but Nyabingi is specific. Divinity of His Majesty. See? 1943, the name Rastafari becomes synonymous with wearing of a beard. Early days,